What's up, everybody? It's Kyle once again with another episode of Unlocking Your Inner Strength. I'm not sure what episode this is because I'm doing this from the truck, so I don't have my document in front of me. Making the most of my time. I'm actually in the Costco parking lot waiting for Susie to send me a shopping list. But that's one of the things, right, that I always try to show by example is you got to leverage your time. Right? Don't ever go somewhere without something to do in case somebody's running behind you. You get there early. I've got books. You see, I got books. So I always have some. I got my notes. So it's always about being able to leverage your time. That's how you squeeze the most out of each day. Now today, what I'm going to talk about is the circle of BS. You know what that means. I try to keep it clean on here because when I upload to iTunes, it says clean, explicit. But the circle of BS. And what this is, really, is it's a great thing. I went back to jiu-jitsu this week, and the professor, part of the reason I left going, I really wanted to get back, was professor always drops these knowledge bombs and little things. I'll come back to the truck and I'll write it down and say, okay, how does that apply? Because I know there's a lot in that. So when it comes to fitness and mindset, the circle of BS, right, is you have to know a thing in your deepest parts of your soul, right, your being, that it works or it doesn't work. And you have to own that. Because otherwise, what's happening is you're following what this, let's say, fake fitness expert said, and where'd they get it from? They picked it up from somebody else further back that told them, hey, you got to do this. Where'd they get it from? They got it from somebody else, but none of them actually know the internal truth, okay? The truth of what actually works. It's just a circle of bullcrap that keeps going round and round, and people don't think for themselves. And they don't say, wait a minute, that doesn't work. Why do we keep telling people to do that? And that's the frustrating thing with all the fake fitness experts out there. So let me give you some examples. Think about this myth of cardio. That is one of the first ones I attacked when I really started writing and putting content out in 2008 was the aerobic fallacy, I believe it was titled. Maybe I'll post that below this. It got a lot of attention at the time. But people will tell you, go do cardio. You want to lose weight, go do cardio. Then you always have to say why with any of this stuff. What's the goal? Okay, if the goal is to lose weight, you're barking up the wrong tree. And you got to use reality math. All you have to do is go to any big box gym, any Globo gym. If we're talking about the cardio example, go in January, beginning of January. Do this as a test and just look at everybody, take a picture, go at the same time, go like in the evening at some point or early morning, take a picture of everybody that's there. They have all their resolutions. Then go back in a month or 2 months. First of all, most of them aren't going to be there anymore because they realize what they were doing doesn't work and they're wasting their time. Second thing, the people that have continued that, notice if they've changed at all, if their body has changed. And that's called reality math. So all these filters, right, all this BS in the fitness industry, I've always put through all these filters, right? And it's being not afraid to step out and ask the questions and not just go along with the herd. So that's another thing we're going to talk about in a second. So you think about with cardio, right? Cardio actually cardio, as most people, I call that cardio. Most people don't even understand the term cardio. The muscular system drives the cardiovascular system. So weights in an upper body, lower body fashion will be more cardiovascular beneficial than getting on some kind of machine. So you have to say, why am I doing this, right? Now, if you like doing cardio on an elliptical machine, then by all means do it. If you're doing it to lose weight, don't do it. Go outside and go for a walk. You're going to get a lot more out of that. So the circle of BS. With food, we're talking about low calories. Eat multiple meals. Show me one traditional diet program that's cutting your calories and having you eat multiple meals that works. I will challenge anybody to show me or raise your hand if you've done that and it worked. Now, when I say work, I don't mean you lost weight. I've done that too. And then it came back on within a half year. That didn't work. That was just an illusion. You force the body to do something that it doesn't, it's going to resist. It's a stress adaptation. Now the next time you go to do that, it's going to be harder. That's why people say, well, I went back and I started doing what I did before and it didn't work. Well, it's no kidding, because whoever told you to do that didn't understand how the body actually works. They're following the circle of BS. The body's always going to have a stress adaptation to what we do to it. And everything your body does is first and foremost for survival. And that's what Craig says. You know, Craig's one of our clients. He's done great. And he says, you know, the small groups, we design our training. And you know, Coach Mike, our head trainer, does a great job of designing the training to give you the cardiovascular benefit while training the muscular system, while training the vascular system, getting the fluid pumping throughout the body. Very important for health. But talking about multiple meals, low calorie, that's just people. And that's why when I came from the bodybuilding world, when I was still competing, it was funny because I never fit in that world anyway. I was so-so as a bodybuilder. I wasn't really cut out for it, but it was something I learned a lot from. But I would go to these contests and I would be sitting in the backstage area just reading. And all these people with frantic energy, they're going crazy. I remember my brother Brooks said, man, just funny, you sit here and you're reading, you're very calm, and all these people are going around and the energy's no good, and they're trying to, man, okay, if I eat this little thing before we go on stage, then I'm going to win. It's such a great lesson in life to sit back and observe people sometimes, especially at one extreme, because then you get to pick out, okay, that worked, blah, 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 or you get to test stuff, but you get to see what not to do. I'm trying to read what I wrote there. High protein. That is another circle of BS myth. People want to just keep telling you, you got to eat protein, no carbs, you got to have vegetables, don't have fruit, God forbid, fruit's going to make you fat, it's too much sugar. Use your reality math. Just step back and look at people. Has anybody ever gotten fat off of fruit? Again, I will challenge anybody to show me somebody that eats predominantly fruit and show me a fat person. That person will not be overweight or fat. So where does this come from, right? It just comes from the circle of BS. You have the fake fitness experts and the fake fitness experts that write for the magazines and that are on shows and all that. They're just spewing out the same stuff that doesn't make any sense. When you actually put it, you know, take it, flip it on its head and question it and research it. So with all this stuff, you got to know the truth for yourself, because then you have the ultimate power. If you're relying on somebody else to tell you, if you don't really believe that person is always learning and have your best interest, like a fiduciary fitness expert, that's a new term right there, fiduciary fitness expert. They're going to have your best interest in mind. If they're always trying to get you to buy something, whatever those shakes are, isogenic shakes or whatever, they don't have your best interest in mind. Okay, they're trying to peddle a product that they got into, and there's a reason we don't have protein at Newell Strength anymore. I finally realized I can't morally tell people to take this stuff. So it goes on and on, right? It goes around the circle. So fiduciary, I like that with the fitness expert. So in business and life, Vince Gabriel has been coaching me now for over 7 years. So that's a long coaching relationship. And the reason I've stayed with him so long is I trust Vince that he's going to bring the truth. He provides clarity. He's kind of a mirror, just says, here's the mirror, man. Here's what you're doing. And he'll ask me questions, right? That's what coaching is. And I know that he's always learning. He's always going back and evaluating his processes and then bringing them to me. So my point with that is, if you find a coach or you find a place that you know has your best interest at heart and is constantly changing and evolving, that's a great thing, right? I always say I reserve the right to change my mind, because I'm constantly learning, right? And so are the coaches. That's one of the things we live by, the slight edge. So what I told you 10 years ago is going to be crazy compared to now. You know, protein, multiple meals, all this. Maybe at that point the training had already kind of evolved, but it's constantly growing and being ahead of the curve. And at first, people are going to think you're crazy. When I first started fasting, the looks I would get, well, you're crazy. You can't do that in bodybuilding. Oh, yeah, watch me. I did it. And, there's a whole bunch of funny stuff with that. And, kind of within that, in one of my projects this next quarter is to write. It's going to be a smaller book, but an actual diet book, the Panda Diet. And it's going to have all the stuff in there, a system to use. But one of the things that's going to be in there is more plant-based, things that grew from the earth, that grew from the ground, and lower protein. And to me, it's, again, people just want to buy into the circle of BS. You need high protein. You need high protein. You don't. And it's, again, show me somebody in America that's protein deficient, vegans included. It doesn't happen. They're not protein deficient. So who is putting out all this stuff? And this all comes back to you being able to internalize the process, right? It's more of a Zen approach to self-improvement. But you have to be able to internalize, evaluate, have self-awareness, ask the right questions, and you got to know the truth. Is this serving me or not serving me? And then you have to be able to keep it alive, right? Like with fasting, for the example, you can keep that alive. You can tweak it. You got a social event, you got the holidays coming up, take off for the week. Change the fasting time, right? When you do an extreme diet, there's not much keeping it alive. Your willpower is going to break, and then you're going to binge, and then it's just this circle of BS, right? This circle of supercompensation that's going round and round. But be able to keep it alive. That means you own it, right? Whether that's your training. Going back to that, you have to be mentally engaged in your training. I don't care how good the program is on paper. If it's boring to you, it's not going to work. And this all comes down to mind map. All this stuff ties into mind map, and not being scared to ask questions and say, why does that go on? Am I doing this the right way? So last thing I'm going to wrap up with this is one of the very first episodes I ever did, I think it was episode 8 of Unlocking Your Inner Strength, was about something like don't follow the herd over the cliff. In life, if you look at what the majority are doing in your community, right, your society, if you didn't know what else to do, and you just did the opposite, if they're going right and you went left, you're going to be right 99% of the time. If you just do the opposite of what the majority are doing, you're going to be right 99% of the time. I don't care what field you're in. That is a truth. It's a truth I live by. And it always makes you ask the question, wait, they're all doing that, but they're getting these kind of same results or not results or whatever. Let's go the complete opposite way and see what research is there, and talk to people who have done that, and experiment with yourself to see if it works. That's how you internalize something. You can't just read it. You got to do it. And that is, think of the circle of BS as the herd just going round and round, and all the fake fitness experts, famous ones, local ones, are just leading you in this circle of BS. Find a fiduciary fitness expert that has your best interest in mind, and realize that they don't know where they got the information a lot of times. You ask her and you challenge them on it, and, well, that's the way we always did it. No kidding. That's the wrong answer. That's what I got for you today. Hopefully some of that resonated, and went on a few rants there. Hit the thumbs up, hit the like button, post a question if you got it, and hit the share button if you so please. Appreciate the support. This will be out on iTunes in about a month, and I'll be back soon. Peace, everybody.